Really glad that you've taken this on. It's interesting. The New York Times reported that 40% of black businesses have closed during the pandemic. Clearly you saw this crisis coming and stepped out and took action. And I've enjoyed the opportunity to spend time with you over the past few months and have seen how important this is to you. You're constantly on calls with the White House, with Treasury officials, with heads of some of the largest financial institutions on the globe. And still, not many people in your position would have taken on the cause of fighting for the survival of black-owned businesses and entrepreneurs. And what is it that prompted you to act so boldly and to pull out your Rolodex and use it as effectively as you have?
And Bill, again, thank you for spending the time educating me on the call it the topography of this industry, and making introductions to a number of the leaders so that I could be, understand the current state of the CDFI networks, MDI networks and capacity, and then B, think about ways to enable a higher scale of activity. Again, it comes back to growing up and seeing just some very vibrant businesses in this neighborhood that I grew up in disappear when we had financial crisis. And as I went through, late high school, college, coming back and seeing these businesses never recover, never opened. The real estate in those areas, the malls, the strip malls that they were in, kind of fell into disrepair. The property values went down. I call it the hopelessness started to set into a number of those communities. And it isn't until recently, last few years, where I've actually seen that hope return in the form of these small businesses, a lot of them African-American and latinx-owned businesses that are now looking to serve their communities. And then, as you and I know, most small businesses maybe have 2 months of working capital, and JP Morgan had printed a study that I read that said that in essence, these businesses, African-American, Latinx businesses, have 2 weeks. And you and I talked about this 5-6 weeks ago. We said, the half-life of these businesses is, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And so the disturbing news that we were just hearing that 41% of these businesses are no longer transacting, it isn't unexpected based on the data. But I think it was essential that we, in this community of CDFI lenders, did everything in their power to stave that off. And I think we have to do everything in our power now to reinvigorate those businesses and those economies, those local economies that are so essential. This. Half of the U.S. GDP is small to medium businesses, and these businesses, make up a 90+% of the actual employment in these communities. And frankly, it provides hope and optimism and jobs and internships. And, when teenagers are looking for something to do, you go to kind of the local businesses, one of your first jobs. I think many of us had that opportunity, but if those businesses aren't there, it creates a little bit of a hole. And frankly, it creates a little bit of a challenge in one's psyche to think that the American dream, the American economy is open to you because you don't see it. And I think it's incumbent upon us, beyond the financial elements that we bring to that hope, that we have to bring the idea that there is an opportunity and show these young people, if you work hard and in these businesses, and you have an opportunity to really excel and do some things in your life that you dream and aspire to. But if you don't see it, it's really hard for them to dream and go capture it.